There are roughly 1,100 flights daily across their two biggest airports, O'Hare and Midway, serving 105 million passengers per year. So I thought it was worth a visit to find out how the city's airports are growing, both in size but also in their approach to travel. I'm here in the brand new state-of-the-art Terminal 5 extension at Chicago's O'Hare Airport, a place that will soon welcome millions of passengers flooding in to visit one of America's greatest cities. The airline industry changed the world, but in an increasingly eco-conscious society, it's also under increased scrutiny. So, if the time has come for aviation to press the sustainability reset button, it's just as well that Chicago is leading the green conversation.
We find today that our passengers are much more environmentally focused than in prior decades, and we've got to rise to that challenge, right? Those passengers are expecting more of us in our construction and our operations, and that's something that we want to accomplish for them. So for the last 17 years, we've been working on an airfield modernization program called the O'Hare Modernization Program. And that program was very focused on the runways and taxiways. But now, as we finish that, we're very excited to start a new program to reinvigorate the terminal complex. As we do all of these massive construction projects, we're very mindful about how much excavation do we have to do and how much pavement do we have to pour, because that all takes resources, whether it's vehicles or people or materials. And so while all the technology folks are working on better aircraft and better fuels, we're trying to look at how can we affect what's happening on the ground, on our property, and with the operations that we're conducting. But we're also mindful of the practices that we put in place and the materials that we purchase in order to make this a balance between the business side, the community side, and the environmental side. So the Sustainability Airport Manual is really the first of its kind in the United States. We knew that we were going to have quite an environmental impact on the airport grounds itself. And in the United States, we have certification programs for sustainable buildings, but we really didn't have one for civil engineering pavement projects like building runways. So the CDA had a great idea, which was, let's take those principles of certifying green buildings and apply it to certifying runways and taxiways.
The Sustainable Airport Manual goes much deeper than many corporate sustainability plans, where organisations might just be seen to be doing the right things. The CDA has integrated sustainability right in the DNA of O'Hare Airport, using Rockwell's RockFun products to create these incredible ceilings in the new Terminal 5. This is aluminium material, 100% recyclable, so can be used over and over again.
So we've got over 15 green roofs here at O'Hare. That's important for reducing the heating load on the building. If the plants are sustained, that means that that's less expense that we have just to replace roofing materials, which fundamentally are not sustainable. We have a herd of sheep and goats and sometimes other animals that come on the property, and they are grazing in areas that are hard to mow. We don't have to use gasoline or diesel-powered equipment to do that mowing. One of the biggest impacts we have with operations is in the terminals with our concessionaires, whether they're restaurants or retail shops. So we're trying to keep an eye on them and make sure that as they're conducting their business, they're doing so in an environmentally minded manner. The airports are a tight-knit community, and we share ideas and best practices with each other. So as we were planning and designing the O'Hare Modernization Program, it dawned on us that these ideas were something that we could share with our peers. And so we created the Airports Going Green Conference as a small affair back in 2007, and now, nearly 15 years later, it's grown, and we're extremely proud of it. We want to expand that beyond the bounds of the United States. We have great partners with some of our Canadian airports, and we're looking forward to expanding that to the other continents around the world. So the CDA has developed some environmental goals for itself, and we used as the basis for that the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly in the areas of reducing energy consumption, water consumption, and generating of waste. Those three, energy, water, waste, are very much on our minds. It's exciting to have millions of people flying in to experience our great city. And that's a challenge that we take very seriously. We want to make sure that those passengers have a fantastic experience and remember not just the airports themselves, but the city as a global destination.